The state is providing a loan of close to around 1.5 billion, for all these young ones. It is a soft loan. It is not a grant. And the expectation is that if you are giving this loan, and that loan is repeated.
The viewer was worried about paying back. The viewer was worried about how can you guarantee that these loans are retired properly so that they can move on?
So this is where I'm going to now. The method of selection of these youth matters. Remember I said that 3,300 of them, we are only able to select 1,500, that we have verified their businesses, have geomapped their farms, have seen that they are truly doing what we require for them to do. But that is not the end. We are giving you a loan, let's say, assuming that the loan you are getting now is around 1 million. It could be 5 of you in a cluster of a business. If you return the fund back, we are going to place you on a 2 million naira loan level in the next year. If you return the 2 million naira loan back, we're putting you on a 5 million naira loan level. And if you do that, we are providing a guarantee to private sector, to a private commercial bank to support you on a larger scale in your agriculture. So it's your choice to jettison your future, because of just what you are receiving today. Having said that, I need to mention that every single beneficiary in this particular loan were all biometric. Okay? And their biometric is being linked to the resident card of the state. So if you choose not to pay back, you lose so many other incentives that are supposed to be coming for you in the state. This particular card, they have a biometric card. It's also linked to their national health, state health scheme, and many other things like that. So we are giving you the loan. We're placing you on diverse other areas as you use the fund and you increase your productivity and you return the fund back. We put you on a higher loan. If you return that higher loan back, we put you on a higher one. And if you have gotten built to a point where you have come across as a commercial entity, then we provide a guarantee to a commercial bank to give you loan at a very low interest rate, for you to go bigger.
Let me lump two things together simply because of time. It's not the most professional thing to do, but let me link two things together. I'm talking here about concerns, apprehensions about genetically modified seeds, whether or not that is an issue over there. And then irrigation, which we hear agriculturally inclined viewers always speak about as being a major challenge up country. So those two, would you like to please comment on how those two are being addressed? Irrigation in the first instance, where it is appropriate, and then the modification, scientific or genetic modification of seeds. Do you go into that, and what is the official attitude on that?
So we don't do GMOs. We are not, even as a science organization, as a research organization, we don't do GMOs. We work within what takes place in Nigeria as a country. And for us in Oyo State, we don't do genetically modified process, to food. So I need to make that clear. But in terms of irrigation as well, yes, we have not yet commenced. We've received some equipment. Currently I have them in my custody, and we are working at how we will not just distribute these irrigation materials, and that won't be very effective, but looking at where farmers could be, we could profile them, put them in a location, and focus on a particular crop that require round season support for irrigation. For example, maize and rice, so that we will not be giving equipment to those that are not in need of it. Of course, if you're doing cassava, there's no need to have any irrigation equipment on cassava. So we have this equipment now currently in the state, that the states have in custody, and we are working out the modality, to support that all year round production. But I need to also mention that most of the large farmers that we have in the state, and that's where I'm going to. Remember, I mentioned that actors matters, are already engaging in irrigation farm. We have farmers in our state that have over 2,000-3,000 hectares of land as an individual. and this sort of farmers we profile, we have them under the Agribusiness agency, and we are looking at the best way to continuously support them, so that they can continuously expand, what they are doing. So our focus is not just to support smallholder farmers. We are supporting the large and the commercial farmers in the state, and we are doing what we are currently doing in terms of the infrastructural development, the hubs that we are building to attract private investors, that are coming to the state well now. I wanted to mention earlier that we are not yet done with Fashola. Already we are 100% occupied with a rural agribusiness industrial hub. We have not even tilled the land. We are hoping to commission the rural in the next 1 or 2 months. And it's already 100% occupied. The third one in Ijayi is 60% occupied. And we have not yet commenced as well. Private sectors, investors, bringing their fund. I think a good point that Excellency always made is that, Debo, look at what the amount of money we spent in Fashola has attracted. As of today, the fund that has come into Fashola by private investors is 2.2%. Is 2.2 times the amount of fund that the state use in building that place. So we just use our little fund to stimulate private sector investment, and they bring higher fund, to operate within the hub as well.
Let me bring in another viewer who has been waiting for a while. Mazi Okorafo, good morning to you, sir, and thank you very much for holding on. Okay, we lost Mazi Okorafo apparently. But yeah, so as you were saying, maybe we held on to Mazi Okorafo for too long, but I did want you to land on these points. I thought they were important. The other thing I was going to touch on is, because oftentimes if you listen to experts like you and others speaking about agriculture all over the country, another thing you hear about is the wastage that our agriculture suffers due to lack of, the right kind of storage. Now, all of these things that you've been talking about is going to lead to a boost in quantity, boost in output. I'm sure storage will also be a part of the whole process.
Absolutely. I've had discussion around many times, and I've actually been able to correct some of our colleagues when they talk a lot about the issue of silos. Silos are very, very important. But the point that has been made is that we need to also focus on community aggregation centers. That is one of the things that we are doing in Oyo State. If you don't aggregate within the community, that is where you start having the first level of post-harvest loss. Okay, so as part of the project that I said we have in developing the 1,200 kilometers of road, we also have the building of aggregation centers within the agrarian community. I will use Yoruba adage now that said, so if you don't have something that you want to go and put in the silos, if you are not working well from the production side to ensure that the aggregation is well done within that particular community, then what will be left for you to aggregate or put in the silos? So we are working around providing what we refer to as community aggregation centers, for farmers to aggregate. And they already start having these. I've seen 1 or 2 of that in Ijayi and one other settlements within the state. And that then we dovetail to some of the silos that we are currently building in the state now. We have a major silo that we are building in the state, that will be catering for grains and also processed root and tuber materials. Beyond that, again, there are diverse private sector silos within the state. And again, we want to ensure that we as a government, we stick where we are supposed to be staying and allow private sector to take the front burner.